and welcome to the Thunderwave Cave podcast. This is the first episode. I'm Nick, and we've got Ryan and Bush with us as well, and we're going to be chatting about a few things, introducing ourselves, and talking about what the plans are for the future. So really, we're here to just talk Pokemon, chat. We've got a few different perspectives within the group, and we've started a Facebook group that goes along with it all, which would be great to see you there if you found us on other media. I'll do that again, on other social media platforms. So firstly, I just want to sort of talk about why I'm here. I buy and sell various bits of Pokemon, seal product, singles. I have a load of bulk. Everyone seems to send me their bulk, and I do something with it to make some sort of money or not. Sometimes it just sits there and doesn't go very far, but the idea is to try and make money from it. So I'm coming more from a perspective of wanting to buy and sell stuff. And that leads me on, I suppose, to Ryan.
I'm here for shiny cardboard. I mean, I make a little bit of money sometimes off stuff, but mostly I'm addicted to Pokemon. TCG. I was as a child. I started off, I think, with tops, or they were just pictures of Pokemon cards. The first time I saw a TCG card, I thought it was boring. I didn't understand why it had text on it, and I didn't bother. And then somebody showed me a Charizard at school, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go and buy some. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, mostly for me, it's a big thing for collecting. I missed out on a few years, basically, and then got back into lockdown and been hooked since.
Lockdown did seem to be that sort of cause for a lot of people, didn't it? I was similar. I got back into it for that.
Yeah, well, what else were you
exactly.
doing?
Bush, what about you? What got you into, or why are you here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really good at wasting money. So I think when I got back into Pokemon cards, again, during lockdown, it was a fantastic thing to waste money on. I mean, like Ryan, I've loved Pokemon since I was little. I mean, when I was a kid, the most vivid memory I have is really wanted to go buy a pack of cards, and obviously had no money. I was only about 10 at this point, so I went into my mum's purse, stole a $5, biked down to the little shop, and got what I seem to remember as like more than 2 packs, but they were about $2.50, I think, when we were children. But to me, it was like I had like 10 packs of cards. Like, I opened them all outside the shop. Can't remember what I got them. Put them in my pocket. Biked all the way back to show my friends back home. Got home, all gone. They're all falling out of my pocket. Didn't have a single card. So any like good child, I stole $5 from my mum, would have gone, we'll leave it at that. But no, went back into mum's purse, stole £20 this time, went back down to the shop, got even more Pokemon cards, came back, didn't drop them this time. And the best part was my mum and dad came home. There's me walking around with a stack of Pokemon cards like this, going, "Oh, mum, look at my new Pokemon cards!" And they very quickly realised I stole the money and burnt them. So that was nice. But I don't think I had anything good in there. But yeah, so I mean, like I say, Pokemon's just as we grew up as we 90s children, I presume, maybe late 80s. But it's just everything we want to do, wasn't it? So, and it's been fun last year getting back into it.
Did you ever pay your mom back?
No. Well, I have as an adult. I'm sure having like meals and stuff, but yeah, never physically.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't a good kid, so.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Is as children, it was sort of where all of us got into the hobby in the first place, and then disappeared during sort of school time, and came back because of lockdown. And I don't know about you, but for me, I have to admit, I'm one of those people that came back into it because of Logan Paul. I saw his video come up when he started doing stuff, and I was like, oh, Pokemon, I've not even thought about that for years. And so unfortunately, I am one of those people. Ryan and Bush is shaking their heads, but it was unfortunately Logan Paul that got me back into it. And now I am well and truly hooked again. And you're talking there, Bush, about sort of the cards that you had when you were a kid, and that sort of reminded me that I remember having some cards going into school with all these genuine cards that I'd got from the packs, and I saw someone with a dodgy looking Marill card, and I just loved the look of it. And that's a bit why Marill's ended up as my favourite, because it's the one memory I really have as a kid. And it was going in and just trading all of these really nice hollows and getting this dodgy fake Japanese marrow back, which treasured as a child but is nowhere to be seen these days. My parents did a good job of clearing out the loft and getting rid of a suitcase worth of Pokemon cards, unfortunately. So who knows what was in there.
You're like every parent's worst nightmare as a child these days, mate. The amount of messages I see or have had with like, are these real, these cards? My kids come home with them and traded them at school. Like,
yeah, it was exactly like that as a child. It's just like you saw something shiny that you didn't know what it was, and you're like, I'll have that regardless of not knowing that fake cards are really a thing. And now, we have to be a bit more careful that counterfeit goods are not the way to go.
I think if they're the kids' cards and they're enjoying them, they're enjoying them. It don't matter, does it? But
of course.
I mean, when we were kids, I mean, obviously we talk about fake cards there. I don't remember there being that many, but was it just because I didn't recognise them? But I ran a Pokemon club during the summer holidays, and we had about maybe 10 kids come to that, and every single one of them, parents had bought off Amazon and just had like every rainbow you can think of, card you can think of, and obviously all fakes, and I had to break the news to them. They were very sad, and then tell the parents don't buy from Amazon basically, and so like now they seem to be everywhere, but I just don't remember them being that many when I was younger.
Yeah, I'm not sure they were. And again, like you say, like as a 10-year-old, would you really notice the difference? Because the kids these days don't even notice, do they? It's you have to know what you're looking out for, and not just think, oh yeah, I grabbed it off of eBay or off of Amazon and think it's instantly legit. Especially when you're getting like a booster box for 30 quid and it says it's evolutions. We know that that's not going to be real, but kids do not, and kids is like, yeah, shiny cardboard, as Ryan says, that he's addicted to it. So, would you fall for that, Ryan? I don't know. Like, it's shiny.
No. Super. Do you know what? Even as a kid, I was fairly on it. I wasn't up for if somebody looked dodgy or something like that. I was like, no, I'm not giving this guy my Tazos or my Pokemon cards or anything.
Is that because not to make you sound old, but is that not because the age difference? You were an older child when you were probably into Pokemon.
I was. Well, how old was I when Pokemon came out? 99. I was 13.
You were.
No. 12,
so
13.
I would have been 10, and I think Bush, what were you, like 9 when it first came out?
8. I mean 8. 9,
Jesus,
so,
look.
Yeah.
8.
Little young child over there.
Yeah, clearly not aged well, but yeah.
To be fair, you've got a bit of the baby face, mate. You've got that Johnson skin going on. That'll go in about 2 years. Don't worry.
Like I say to Nick,
it'll be rough.
I like to say to Nick, I look like Jonah Hill before he lost all his weight. So.
Yeah, I don't know where to go from there, really, to be honest. But I suppose funny story's done, introduction's done, so people should have an idea of who we are. And obviously, us guys are hoping to be on all the episodes going forward, so it's always good to be able to understand a little bit why we're here and our backgrounds. But I suppose, really, I want to also touch upon some of the stuff that's happening at the moment. We are filming this a few days ahead of the launch of Fusion Strike, but we've already seen stuff going on with the pre-release boxes. Anyone had their hands on any cards yet?
No, I've not had any myself, but I'm liking the look of the Gengar. Is it the Gengar VMAX, I think, which was in the Japanese decks.
Yeah, it was in the theme deck, wasn't it? Yeah. So I think that's right. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I want that card. That to be is one of the chase cards for me. There just seems to be some cool alternates again in there, but I don't know if I'm getting a bit bored of alternate cards now. They're different, but it just seems to be so many. Yeah, there's quite a few, isn't there? And I think it's. I know there was a bit of when the Mew sort of was released or announced and leaked. There was a bit of people wondering, is it actually that good? It's sort of like a very close up, very busy card compared to some of the really nice artworks that we've had, like the Tyranitar alt art was brilliant. One of my favourite probably alt arts that we've had. I really like the Dragonite myself as well from Evolving Skies.
The Celebi's got it for me over the.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. Yeah. I didn't even think that card would make it to the UK. So it's nice to see that coming on it, I guess.
I'm at pre-release on Friday, but I'm not opening to pull anything. I'm just opening to play. So I haven't done an actual proper pre-release for. Oh no, I have done one this year. Actually, that's a lie. I did Evolving Skies.
Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't have done many more, would
But
you?
I did not do well. I didn't pull anything good, or I didn't pull anything really playable either. So I had the deck that it came with and a bunch of spares I couldn't use. So I'm hoping Friday's better. But yeah, I don't know. Fusion Strike may just be that I buy the Celebi Ultimate Art and do the pre-release. That might be me done for this one, as Celebrations has emptied my account.
Yeah, how often do you say that though, Ryan? Like, I do it all the time. Go, okay, these are the 3-4 cards that I want from the set. I'm just gonna wait until the initial hype goes down, then I'll buy them in that little dip period, and then I'll be done with it. And then 2 days later, I've bought 2 booster box, an ETB, a couple of cardboard. It's just ridiculous. It's such an addiction.
I usually don't last that long. I'm usually buying them off Nick for twice the market value 2 weeks later, to be fair.
So
my camera keeps shaking. I do apologise. Anybody watching, I will have a new setup.
So talking of the alt arts that you guys just mentioned, and Bush saying that you're getting a bit bored of them, what about the character cards? Because they look like they're returning in the VMAX Climax stuff that is coming out in the Japanese set soon. I think it comes out 4th of December.
I really like those, but do you know, the only thing I've thought is that Sword and Shield is almost a carbon copy of Sun and Moon in terms of how they've done it. So you've got your Shining set, you've got even when you look at all the sets, it's like now we're getting towards the end. They're doing character cards. They did the alternate arts, which they did in Sun and Moon. There's full art versions, alt arts, golds, rainbows. But I don't remember them. See, XY was totally different. I think before that was black and white, was it? Or am I skipping some eras? And they were different. So I don't know. I just feel that's what I think about it all. I just think, although the cards are different and it is a different era, when you actually look at it, it's more like a blueprint. They've gone, yeah, cool, Sun and Moon works. Let's take it over to Sword and Shield and just change the artworks up. It does feel a bit like that now. We're coming towards the end of Sword and Shield.
I mean, I completely agree. I do wonder, is it because, obviously, with the boom and everything during lockdown, was it just easier to follow the same recipe from last time and just churn out the same thing knowing that they're going to sell it? But I agree, it is just follow the same thing. And it's always the same. So the alternates, well, they're always a bit different, but then they do, like I say, the character cards, which are cool. But it's just like I say, it's never anything new. Like the Amazing Rares I thought they were a bit different, especially with the textures. But we only had 8 of them, and then they just disappeared.
Yeah, but even those, they sort of replaced Prism Stars. If you think about it, because Prism Stars were in the reverse slot, I think, instead, so you could hit a Prism Star and a pull. I mean, I get it. If you've got something that works, use it again, but. I just, for me, I notice things like this, and I don't know, it doesn't bug me. I'm just thinking, why?
Yeah,
mix it up.
I suppose it's one of those things, isn't it? If it ain't broke, and they are great. Yeah. I mean, I love the character cards from Dream League and that, and obviously that were in Cosmic Eclipse and etc. But they're some of my favourite cards, and so the fact they've bought or are bringing back that sort of style, I think is pretty cool. I obviously, as someone who just buys and sells, I don't tend to collect full sets very often. In fact, I don't. I think the only one I've got is the McDonald's set in full. That's it. Otherwise, I'm trying to sort out the base set again. I want to get that. A few cards to go for that. But in general, I will just buy the cards that I like or keep the cards that I like. And so for me, these character cards are what I'm sort of excited and looking forward to. So I've thrown a couple up on the screen that have been announced. I know there's been a few more as well, but the Eevee looks awesome. So definitely be after that. I'm not so sure personally on the Pikachu one, but I suppose we'll see what they're like. And Japanese cards are cool in flesh as well.
They're cool. They're cool artwork. I mean, I'm not I wasn't trying to moan about the carbon copy blueprint thing. It was just something I'd picked up on, but. And they're nice cards. The character cards are really nice. I like them. Yeah. I'm hoping the next set after Sword of Shield, anyway, they try something new with their approach to it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool to see a shake up in how the packs are done for English TCG.
What do you think? What do you mean? What are you
So
thinking?
rather than just, well, instead of just 4 from the front and then you go through your commons, your uncommons, you hit a reverse and then you hit a pull and then you do your other bit and that's it. It's the same, isn't it? Every single time. You know, I mean, with exception of like, okay, celebrations, they did the 4-card ones, but I don't know. Maybe mix it up a bit. I think these days, with the amount of rares and the amount of ultra rares and rainbows and all that, a good way to do it would be to put the hollows in the reverse slot as like as an amazing rare sort of pull rate, maybe higher. So you either get a reverse or a hollow, but you get less hollows, and then just keep that back slot as above.
Yeah, I see.
You know, maybe I just want more pulls.
I think that's it, right? Because the sets are huge now, and so like if you do want to collect a whole set, how on earth do you do it? Because that's a hell of a lot of stuff you've got to open, and it just becomes a second-hand market basically, which is great for people like me who want to buy and sell cards. But actually, as a collector or someone who wants to open packs, you'd have to open so many packs to complete a full set.
Even celebrations, I haven't managed it, and I've opened a lot of packs. Far too many packs. I still haven't pulled Umbreon or Golden Yu.
Yeah,
I still got Zard or Blastoise. I still can't pull them. Or the Umbreon or the Mew, but yeah, I just...
keeps going.
Yeah. Actually, I've got 4 cards in the whole set, basically.
Yeah, I've pulled 4 hollows.
Cool. Well, so something else that we're doing in the group, just sort of to keep things rolling, we're going to obviously start trying to do some more stuff to have interaction with our user base on the Facebook group. So if you are watching this somewhere else, definitely jump over there and join in. But effectively, we're going to be doing things like playing some of the games. We're going to be having some Pokemon Snap, and the Diamond and Pearl sort of remakes are about to be released, I think 9 days from now, from when we're filming this. But the day that this is actually released as a podcast, today's the day, and later on this evening, or this evening when you're watching this the first time, I will be playing the game live and streaming that to our Facebook group. And the idea is, just to try and get a bit involved. We're going to get a bit of interaction, and so that'd be sort of another thing that we're going to do to try and get a bit of more Pokemon items involved for our user base.
Yeah, so I suggested this to Nick about a week back, or I can't remember exactly when, but basically a little while ago, a group of people were playing, but I think it was Pokemon Yellow, inside the Twitter profile picture. So basically you went to this website, you sent the command, and it would automatically move the character. And there was thousands and thousands of people doing this, and it was hilarious because obviously someone will say move forward, someone will say move right, and eventually you just start dancing around in a circle because you've got too many people sending different commands. But people were loving it because obviously you play the game inside the profile picture. So that was quite funny. And I thought, well, can't do it to that extent, but if we had one where a group of us are playing the game, we're choosing to start a Pokemon, we're choosing what Pokemon to have in our party, and them sort of decisions, it kind of gets people involved, especially if you haven't got the game yet, wait for Christmas for the game, gets you guys involved a bit more, and it's a bit of fun, really. So yeah, and then with Pokemon Snap, I was thinking this earlier that I'm doing the first one. Well, it's in the past to you guys now, but I was thinking how much Ryan would be more suited for doing that one. If you ever watched one of his lives, he has a name for every Pokemon card that he pulls and everything like that. So I think we might try and get Ryan to do that one once, because I reckon it'd be quite funny. Yeah.
I'll be up for it.
Cool. So yeah, the game and stuff is going to be good. Live's going to be sort of box breaks and stuff we'll be carrying on with in the group, which is great. So yeah, we just want to do a bit more for interaction, really. So we're going to keep that sort of stuff moving forwards. So current stuff aside, and the upcoming sets, we've had a lot of talk between us at different times, and obviously in the Pokemon community around grading. So it would sort of make sense to have a little chat, especially with Ace Grading being one of the latest UK companies that's sort of surfaced, and we've had some returns, haven't we, Bush? You and I, we've had some cards go to Ace and come back, and you and I have a slightly different opinion of Ace. I think Ryan's a bit more maybe down the middle because he hasn't used them yet. But yeah, with me and Bush, yeah, maybe you're not, but me and Bush have got a very different opinion. So I sent off these two cards. So I suppose I'll start with what I thought, and then you can maybe chime in, Bush. But I sent off these two cards: Japanese Dark Slowbro and an Azumarill. Not quite sure, if I'm honest, why I got 5. But that aside, there could genuinely be something wrong with the card. I guess without subgrades, it's hard for me to know where that problem could really be. But I can't see anything myself. And I thought that 8 was pretty decent. I did the colour match option, as you can see. I wasn't too sure about the colours. I get there's a sort of pinkish red here, but this is maybe not the same colour, and also quite a harsh colour to use out of what I think is on there. I would have probably preferred a white with black text, to match maybe the Pokemon's big white features. But and again on this side, I wasn't overly keen on it. But again, the colour match stuff is. It's a preference. It's an opinion that everyone's going to have different. Some people will like it, some people won't. I probably feel that if I was to use Ace Grading again, which I don't currently plan to, but if I was, then I would stick with the standard label or go with the Ace labels, which I know is something Bush is quite keen on using as well. But for me, my biggest issue I had, the Slowbro has actually been sent back. Is now come back to me again, but it turned up with a chipped case along the bottom, which is not ideal really when you only send 2 cards, and they spend probably about 2 weeks supposedly on their website in quality control. You sort of expect it to come back damage free, and also previously on the underside right on the Pokeball was a big nice bit of white dust, which had appeared underneath the case. Thankfully, they were very good. I sent it back to them. Communication was a bit lacking on that one. You get a nice system, to be fair, when you send off to start with. You fill in your submission. It tells you what stage you're at all the way along the process, albeit sometimes you feel like you might be in that stage for a bit long. But it does do that, and you do get to know every single step that it's going through. But when I sent in this to be sort of effectively reslabbed, I heard nothing. They didn't tell me they had it. They didn't tell me it was coming back to me. They didn't tell me it had been done. I just got a parcel at my front door, and it had the Ace Grading company details on it, which I think is a bit of a shambles. Communication is something that Ace Grading and any UK grading company could really win with, compared to people like PSA, who are maybe a bit too big to have that level of granularity. But I just think it was... communication wasn't great. I'm not overly keen on these colour match labels. The cracked case, I wasn't very happy about. And this mark that seems to be on the bottom of every single one as well, for whatever reason. At the moment, the only thing I heard, I don't know if anyone's heard any different, but I heard someone asked that question and had a return response rather, which was basically, well, that's just how plastics work. Which is maybe not the greatest of responses. But for me, I think it sort of takes away from otherwise a fairly decent slab. It's a bit weird the way they've done it, where it's got like this middle joint, but I had seen that before and I wasn't overly bothered by that. I'm not overly bothered by the sort of squarish look. I think it's quite nice. The slabs do feel really quite sturdy. But I just think for me, that lack of the communication on that return, the fact that they sat in quality control for so long and they got back and it was just problems, the colour match throwing me off, and actually the price difference between this and sending to someone like CGC, who I do prefer the look of, it's just a time thing. So I would rather wait for CGC.
Yeah, so I think what Nick went through wasn't very good from Ace. Obviously, with the quality control of the slabs and having the damage that shouldn't have ever left them like that. So yeah, I fully appreciate that, and I certainly wouldn't be very happy with any grading company that sends me something of that quality. but with, I guess, a bit more on a broader scale of what people seem to moan about is that it's very heavily criticised because people don't like the colour match labels, and like Nick said there, it's a choice, and like if you've like blue and red, to me isn't a great colour combination. I wouldn't go out wearing red shorts and blue top. So to me, if I had a car that was blue, red and yellow like that Azumarill, it's a risk because you don't know if they're going to take that blue and yellowy gold colour, which that might match quite nicely, or are they going to take the red ears? So it's a game you've got to play because they don't tell you what the colour match is going to be. So it's a whole game of are you a graphic designer? Can you work out what colours they're going to steal and how it's going to look? So yeah, the colour match has got to be a choice. I still think their default labels are really nice. I really like the font they use. I like the little just diagonal line, the 3D border on it. So I think, to me, even let's just get rid of the colour match, just talk about their default labels. I still think they're better than any of the other labels that I've come across on that part. And then the other part, obviously, that did get a bit criticised was someone literally just pulled open the case. Which obviously isn't very very good, unless they were just trying to do like an encapsulation kind of project. So they could have got rid of the grading and just gave you the ability to quickly change your cars around, just for you to have something encapsulated. But so that wasn't good. So, but it seems that they've fixed that more by making that weird mark on the bottom even more pronounced, and they seem to be a bit more solid now. But then you are left with that weird mark on the bottom. So again, look, there's definitely things they can work on. But I've had 5 come back. I'm happy with the grades. I went for colour match and I was happy with my colour matches. The feel of the slab compared to, I haven't felt a CGC one yet, and I'm obviously getting some back in the next couple of days, hopefully. So I'm looking forward to see what they feel like. But these are far superior, I've found, in terms of feeling, compared to PSA, compared to some of the other UK ones I've got. And I got a BGS one the other day, and yeah, that wasn't very good either. So that's where I am out of it. I'm still unsure if I'm going to submit more, but that's maybe for another reason, which might come on to a little bit later in this one, or maybe in another podcast. But I mean, yeah, I still would use them, but I just don't know if I am. What about you, Ryan?
Those marks at the bottom of the case, the clip that goes all the way around it.
So no, so that's
Can
not,
you see it?
Yeah, so it looks like, that's what I said to Nick. I said, could it be because they've got this little Ace label like mark on the bottom,
Yeah.
and I thought maybe it was the whole thing, but yeah, we went through it with Nick, and he said it's definitely not.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
It's not even attached. So the ace, the emblem of the ace actually ends before the end of the case. So it's ever so slight.
Yeah.
You can, but there is a gap. So there is actually a border effectively around the edge. I can run my finger on it before it gets to the bottom. And other cases didn't have that before. So when Bush touched upon the fact that like when there was that case that ripped open, that didn't have such a prominent problem on the bottom. And since that issue is announced, seemingly they now have this really big gash effectively on the bottom.
See, for me, if I'd made a case with a seam down the middle and it didn't go together very well, as in it sort of came apart, that's exactly what I'd do to fix it temporarily.
Yeah.
When they launched it, these were limited,
Mm-hmm.
and they're on every single slab.
Yeah.
Which it's just such a blatant lie, which I don't like, to be honest. I was like, I don't know why you just didn't say we've had an issue with the slabs, we're going back to the drawing board. But maybe not. But I think if they could have pulled it off and sent out good quality slabs consistently, then fair enough. But they haven't managed it. From what I can see on the internet, I haven't had them myself. But again, it seems a bit pot luck. But I've seen a lot of shoddy slabs.
Yeah. There's people, having problems, and I think so. So Bush touched upon it very briefly with the BGS slab. So if I fire up a couple of images of what he was talking about, but effectively, Bush, you might want to touch upon this, what you experienced and what you saw.
Yeah. So what I did is I wanted to see what a BGS slab was like in person, because it was an option I could go down for future grading. So I went up to eBay and I just want to try and find the cheapest BGS slab I could find, which isn't easy, by the way. So this was cheapest one I could find. There was an offer and I got for like 40 quid. So it was a complete potluck, random BGS slab. And obviously all grading companies can have these problems. But at the moment, if I wanted to get something graded with BGS, it's going to cost me 140 quid. And if you can see on some of these pictures that Nick's shown here, there's like stains on the labels. There's 2 orange stains, like one's right next to it says edges and just one above like centering. And just got some horrible stains there, which... I mean, if I paid £140 and that came back, I'd be livid. Probably like Nick was when he's got damage to his case. So that's one. Again, on the top, a bit like how Ace have, it's a bit of... I don't know if that's just wear, but if you see, it's where they're joined. And it's just... So like they've got that little stamp there on one side, which kind of hides it. But on the other side, they don't have the stamp. And again, it seems to be some weird stuff going on there. So... That was 2 problems, and the third is it's quite hard to see, I think, on the pictures, but the cards at a slant. It's not so they're Beckett BGS sleeve the cards before they put them in the cases, but it's not. You can see the image there. It's not straight in the case. So had I just paid 140 quid for that, I'd be mortified. So as I said, this could just be one awful one out of the bunch, but it was a complete random pick off the eBay, so it's a fair review. It might not necessarily be true, but it's definitely a fair one.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? I think you're going to get issues with all these grading companies because it's not like, you're sonic welding plastic together and you're trying to do it neatly, and it's not a neat process, but... I do think if you look across the internet, some of those A slabs look like they've been shattered and then sealed. There is that much like spider webbing and chips and stuff inside the case.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be wrong. I think if PSA sent out a slab that looked like that, I think it'd be a lot worse because you're looking at a company that's been going for however long. It's like 60 years or something now, isn't it? Since the 60s, 70s.
I think
so. Yeah, I suppose there is a bit of leeway for new companies, but
there needs to be leeway, of course, and it's how they deal with it. Like things are going to go wrong, companies are going to have problems, and it's how they handle that. And I think we could delve into it. All the different companies that are around in the UK at the moment, obviously, taken PSA away from that. I'll just put it down there, but there's a whole bunch of companies using very similar slabs to each other. Basically, the PSA copies, in essence. And you sort of give a little bit of leeway, don't you, to like a new company. And if they rectify things and they improve things and they handle things well, then fine. Some of the, comments that have been said on social media, and you have to take those with a pinch of salt because they are just on social media and not necessarily sort of fact-checked effective like you would if you're doing a proper article. But people are saying that the feedback that they get is just like, well, that's just how it's meant to be. And it's like, well, wait a minute, it's not good enough. And I think as long as those things get fixed, then, But realistically, how are they going to compete with the likes of... I haven't got a Beckett slab in front of me, but effectively PSA and CGC being the other 2 big boys out of the 3. Obviously, CGC have changed their labels since, so the labels now look a bit nicer than the one that's here as an example, which I think helps because the label was one of the biggest issues I had personally with CGC. But options are out there, aren't they, really? So...
The new CGC label's a lot nicer. I'm way more into that as a slab. The only thing I'm not into is the lack of 10s. I like a 10, what can I say,
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I mean, my other point that we probably will leave to another podcast where we go a bit more into depth into grading as general, but I just wonder if all these opinions are a bit mute at the moment because grading in it's just completely changed what it was a year ago thanks to the boom. But everybody, every person we know is all graded. They're looking for mint cards. They send them to a grading company, and now we're starting to see all these grades come back. So like my September submission to PSA is coming back soon. Obviously, I'm getting my CGC stuff coming back soon. And just like everyone else is, we're getting this huge influx of slab cards at the moment, but we're still in this period of time where people aren't looking for slabbed cards, really. They're looking for mint raw cards to get graded. And I just wonder if we're at a time now where, a bit like in sports cards, that we're moving over to a world where when you're looking for Pokémon cards, you're actually looking for graded cards. but it's going to take a while to move over into that world. So if we are there, it's an interesting point of like, well, who do you grade with? What? It's just very weird now, I find, and I'm interested to see what happens, especially in the next like 6 months to a year.
See, currently that's me. Currently I'm seeking graded slabs, PSA slabs, because it costs me 140 quid to grade at PSA at the minute, and I'm not guaranteed a 10. So, like, I just picked up a Gem 10 Charmeleon and a Gem 10 Charmander SV for Hidden Fates, but part trade, but I ended up paying 95 quid. I think the rest was about 90 in trade for me. And it's like, so that's what, 185.
Yeah.
I've bought the SVs and graded one and not got the 10s. I still haven't graded the other one for the same money. So at the minute, because I'm a PSA collector, a lot of the time I'm looking for the slab and not the raw card now.
Yeah, so it's that guarantee, because you haven't got the luxury of you know, sending a card off. You're either going to send it off and wait 18 months, or you can't at the moment, but like that's obviously what you were doing before, or you were sending it a higher service, and now with the only service really being £140, yeah, you're better off buying the slabs that other people have got, or their returns that are coming back. But I think the grading and who you grade with aside, I mean, we're going to do a wider video. We've got like PCA, we've got universal grading, some of the UK companies get graded, Tree Frog, Majestic. Like at some point we'll do a deep dive into these. But in the meantime, really, I suppose my personal advice anyway would be stick with CGC, stick with PSA if you've got a card that warrants it, that warrants that cost. BGS again if you've got a card that warrants that cost. CGC is probably the cheaper of the three at the moment. Let's be realistic, it is. You can send a sort of £15 bulk service. You can still do that. You can't do that with the other two. And really for us, I suppose, myself and Bush anyway, we've used Dan's Pokestop for sending CGC stuff, and I believe you've done that as well, Bush, for your PSA. So I would suggest, like, if you're looking for grading, maybe start there. Maybe consider the fact that if you want to get anything that's going to add value, you need to go to PSA, BGS, or CGC. Dan's Pokestop can help you with that. If you're going to go with a UK company, just know that really you're not going to be adding a huge amount of value, if any. But you will protect your cards really nicely. So if that's what you're going for, then maybe that is an option. But yeah, I would suggest maybe checking out Dan's Pokestop. And I'll probably drop a link below to his Facebook group so you can jump in there and ask him any questions that you may have.
Weirdly, if I was to recommend a UK one at the minute, it'd be Get Graded. I think they've just got it over the other two. I haven't heard a blink from UGC in months, to be honest.
No, they've
like I haven't seen much. Yeah. I think they're gone.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And I've just not been that impressed with that. So if it was me at the minute, I just wanted a quick slab. I'd go, do you know what? Those Get Graded slabs, they're solid. I've seen quite a few of them, and they are fairly solid.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have a few of them, but I've got one of them here. You know, it's basically a slightly thicker, I think, PSA slab. Yeah, ever so slightly thicker PSA slab. So yeah, if you're just going for encapsulation, you know, you've got your options there. But if you want, you know, something worth actually, you know, your return on your money, and who knows, Get Graded might, you know, get further as time goes. I have heard horror stories with Get Graded, but that has been with a previous owner. I know that has changed, so who knows what the future holds for them as well. I think that's the thing. That's why a deep dive could be a good thing to go through. Go through these companies. Go through your UK options. Go through your options of how you just store cards if you're not going to get graded. Like if you just want to have your cards.
Maybe we can do a sub battle.
We could do a sub battle. I mean, the problem is at the moment, if you want to do a sub battle, I suppose the only one you could do is send to all of these UK companies for sure, because you're not going to be spending 140 to test out PSA and confirm that right now, are you? But we have examples of a lot of them anyway. But there's loads of options that we have around, and then, you know, we can talk about different options in terms of how to just protect cards that maybe doesn't include grading. But for me, for now, I would say that's something we probably want to dive deep in a standalone podcast, because we could go for ages about these different companies, so many around, and so much feedback we could collate and information we could collate. So that probably wraps up, if I'm honest, as long as you guys haven't got anything else to add. But that probably wraps up the podcast, other than obviously Bush has got a little game, I think, that we're going to sort of use as our way to end this.
Yeah, definitely. So I thought just finish on a bit of fun. Each week we could try and put one of us against each other to see who has the better Pokemon knowledge.
So Ryan's won, basically, is what you're saying.
I think so.
Why?
So we're going to do. I'm going to just describe, I'm going to describe basically a Pokemon to these guys, and first to three basically wins. So it's pretty simple, but yeah, hopefully it'll be interesting to see if we get like a really easy question and someone fails. That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see. So if you're ready, guys, we'll jump straight in.
Yeah.
Okay, so first one is the Pokemon known for granting wishes. So I'll give you four options. You've got Shaman, Jirachi, Giratina, or Snorlax.
Jirachi.
I mean, he's answered it, isn't it? He gets it right first. That's it, isn't it? I can't copy him, so.
Yeah. I guess I didn't really think of how. To
I'll say something different just for the fun of it. Shaman. I didn't know the answer anyway, so like.
Yeah, so it was Jirachi. So this time Nick gets to go first, I guess, is the fair one. So we'll take it in turns who answers first.
Fair enough.
So yeah, it's like a buzzer. Maybe what we actually need is you to both have like a little buzzer that you can say like to or something like that.
Just click like that.
Click, yeah. Nick, you can have a bing or something. Say bing if you got the answer.
Go.
Okay, so next one is the fighting steel type member of the trio introduced in Generation V. So is that 4 or 5?
5.
5. Okay, good Roman numerals. Is it Cobalion, Goldion, Terrakion, or Virizion?
I'm not going to lie. I have absolutely no clue. So, Ryan, go for it.
Fighting steel.
Yeah, this is a tricky one.
Right, in that case, I'll go for option 2.
What were the options again?
It's not definitely
I can't remember.
So the options
I thought
are
I knew this.
Cobalion, Goldion, Terrakion, or Virizion.
It's Cobalion.
Yeah, look at him. He knows his stuff.
He does. But you see, I just buy and sell stuff. I don't know. He plays Pokemon Go. He plays the TCG.
I think it's actually pronounced Cobalion, apparently, but I think Cobalion sounds cool.
Yeah, if not, we'll make one up for Cobalion. It can be our own Pokemon.
You got an easy one?
I mean, I don't know.
Can you describe Pikachu? Yellow, we've got some ears.
I think Rivals will beat you to it, unfortunately.
Probably.
I'll be interested to see. This one I think is quite easy. So what we'll do is we'll let Nick answer this one first.
No pressure or anything, no.
From it. So I think this is quite easy. A tree with 3 green orbs on its head and no arms. Is it Trevenant, Sudowoodo, Trico, or Bonsly?
I don't have a clue.
Oh, come on.
It's Bonsly.
And honestly, not a clue.
Yeah.
I see. The thing for me, right, is I'm an OG. Describe some Pokemon from the original. I might have a better chance, but
yeah.
You got to up your knowledge if you're going to make all of this dollar, Nick, selling Pokemon cards.
See, I'm really good at that. What you do is...
Have you not seen... Everyone's after Bonsly Gold Stars these days, mate. Come on.
All you have to do, right, is you have to take the Pokemon's name from the top of the card and then just put the number in at the bottom. You put that in on eBay, it tells you what they're worth, and then you list it.
Oh, right. We're just an algorithm to you, Nick. I understand how it is.
It's just numbers. It's like I basically see things like zeros and ones, so...
So that means Ryan wins with free to love.
Yeah. So maybe next time what we'll do is I'll do the describing and you two can do the guessing because I think that would probably work better.
Well, I've got a clean sheet. I want to see if I can keep it now. 3-0.
Yeah.
See if I can get to 100.
all right. No, I think that...
If I get to 100, you got to sign May's cards over to me.
Now I've got to start scrubbing up on my Pokemon. Do you know what? Right, but annoyingly, Bush told me that he was going to do this, and he tried a couple on me, and I knew them, and it was fine.
You got them right.
I got them right, and then he goes on this one, and he's like, "Which ones can I pick that Nick won't know?" That's what he's done, and he's like,
"This one is slightly different. This one though, it's the same website and the same thing I'm doing it on, but it just seems to be a slightly different page, and
harder.
questions do seem
The ones he asked me
harder.
before, I worked them out. I was like, yeah, it's fine. I had a chance at least, but those ones I just like, no, I'm good. Just let Ryan answer them, and we can end this podcast because people probably had enough of listening to us and watching us anyway.
Yeah, definitely. But if you are interested in like quizzes like that, we do them on the Thunderwave Cave. So if you are watching on YouTube and not on the Facebook group, again, come on over and you can join in on them as well.
Cool. Well, I think that ends it quite nicely, guys. So thanks for being here. Thanks for taking your time out to chat about Pokemon, do a little intro about ourselves. And we'll obviously try and reconvene. We're going to try and do these basically once a month. I think Bush said week earlier, but let's just correct that now before people get any ideas. We'll be doing once a month because once a week is way too much for us. So yeah, once a month we're going to try and choose a topic going forward, or a couple of topics to touch upon in that podcast. Ryan, you want to add something?
Yeah, I was going to say we're going to try and get marginally better at these as well. Get the flow in, keep the spirits and the humour up as well. But these are our first ones, so
Of course, yeah.
Bear with us is what I was going to say.
Exactly. I mean, over time, I'm sure it will get better and better. But hopefully, this has been entertaining enough for you. And I'm going to end it there and say we'll catch you in the next one.